forgot the name of the show.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Tall and Short with Tim and Tony.
Oh yeah, that's what we're called. I'm Tony.
And I'm Tim.
We're starting strong.
Absolutely. I'm debating if I want to keep that all in now.
Oh, absolutely. That's how we're opening every show now.
I pointed at you and everything like, go, and you just deer in the headlights.
What are we doing? Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, that's funny.
That basically just sums up how my brain has been functioning the last 3 months.
Man, you've been busy there. Been busy there, huh?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, I'll skip all of this because Tony's brain's frazzled. He's got some big stuff going on, so.
Yeah. First child is coming in 2 weeks. Oh, Jesus Christ, 2 weeks.
Not at the time of this recording. By the time whenever we drop this, his child will be long since born. And once again, dude, congratulations. Looking forward.
It's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to all the not sleep I will be getting.
Like you already didn't get sleep before.
It's all right. It's gonna be worse though now. So.
Alrighty. So,
speaking of horrible creatures,
not you talking about yourself, but hey, we're gonna talk about one of my favorite cryptids of all time. And what actually got me introduced into the world of cryptozoology and the paranormal and everything else that goes bump in the night. El Chupacabra.
Puma. Warhawk. Chupa thingy.
Right.
Red.
Red versus blue fans, everybody.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, the Chupa thingy. Yeah. Talking
How
about
a Griff?
El Chupacabra. This creature, out of all the different little cryptids and everything, is a little near and dear to my heart for quite a few reasons. It's kind of like how the Jersey Devil is your favorite, and it's why it's my favorite. As I stated, it was one of the first cryptids that I actually got to learn about, and it was the product of obsession for years. You could ask my parents or anybody that I grew up with, like, Chupacabra was my baby. My Chupa baby.
Yet you are the whitest man I know.
I know. You're whiter than I am.
I don't agree to those terms.
But another thing about the Chupacabra is that it's also, not a big creature compared to other larger beasts like Bigfoot or Loch Ness Monster. It's fairly small. It's a fairly smaller creature.
I've heard sizes of Chupacabra ranging from like a house cat to like I think I've heard like a full-on like wolf.
Or a bear or something.
Yeah, like a large predatory animal.
Yeah, that's about it. They're, for the most part, they're not very big. Like, Bigfoot ranges from 6 feet to 10 feet, and Nessie's like 20 to 40 feet long, depending.
Yeah.
But that's that on the size. And then finally, it's a fairly modern cryptid. Because Bigfoot has been around for supposedly centuries, and in multiple countries, whereas Nessie, she's only been around for about couple centuries as well. Old Nessie!
Nice segue.
I actually even have it said in their speaking Scottish accent.
Of course you do. Tim, you're slightly extra.
Do you expect anything less from me?
I'd be concerned if I didn't.
Now, the first report of the Chupacabra from a woman named Madeline Tolentino describes it as being between 3 to 4 feet tall, piercing red eyes, sharp fangs, long claws, scaly skin with short grayish-brown fur on top like a thin layer, like what our hair on our head.
Yeah.
A prominent row of spikes on its back, no tail, and powerful hind legs that allow the creature to leap away. You good there?
I'm just so amazed by the description of this animal.
Chupacabra just leaped off your chest. Another leaping creature. We just talked about Spring-Heeled Jack last time, so apparently I've got a jumping thing going on here.
That's because you're short.
Shut up. Well, it's called tall and short. You're the tall one, I'm the short one. It works out.
You gotta jump up to my level.
And this was the image of the Chupacabra for me. this alien-looking creature
Yeah.
that was just something unseen by anyone. Other descriptions have also included, wings, skin flaps, like squirrels, like flying squirrels, or even long lizard tails, which, at the time when I was thinking all this, I was like, ooh, that's like regional variations, like the Puerto Rico ones, your stereotypical-looking big head, eyes, and spike sort of thing, but then like you go like Nicaragua, and it has wings, all just changes based on them. I've seen illustrations, people have done different, like, what they call regional variations, which were pretty cool looking.
Those are always fun to look at.
Oh, absolutely. But then, recently, as the mid-2000s, there were, especially in the American Southwest, there have been reports of chupacabras looking a bit more canine in appearance, instead of this alien gargoyle-looking creature.
Yeah.
With having gray, leathery blue skin, somewhat gaunt and malnourished-looking, pronounced spine, and then long, spindly tails. And we've all seen those photos, we've all seen the dead creatures, the videos of them running around. It's like, those are pretty fucking creepy creatures.
Yeah.
Like, no doubts on that one. And before I get into some of the meat of this topic, I actually came across a couple of tangents. I find little side stories about some, like when I did the...
You rabbit hole.
I did.
Okay.
Because there's some fun stuff about this, and I was like, this is interesting.
You chupacabra hold.
Yeah. I don't know how to incorporate that into a joke, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't either, but it just sounds funny.
Like in the 1970s, in the small town of Moca, Puerto Rico, there were reports of livestock being drained of blood. Locals thought that this was the work of satanic cults performing their rituals and that sort of thing. But apparently there was a lot more livestock that was being drained of their blood than what would be necessary for a quote-unquote ritual or a sacrifice. Yeah. People actually believe that there was an unknown creature called El Vampiro de Moca, the vampire of Moca, going about leaving small circular incisions in the bodies. That's the first one. I couldn't find much on that one. Second one is that there actually is a real creature that, among its other names, is called goatsucker. And it's not what you'd think. I want you to give a guess. What do you think the real goatsucker is?
Well, my first guess would be a vampire bat, but too small, because they're like a couple inches big.
Mm-hmm.
Coyotes, maybe. Panther, maybe.
You're going big and predatory.
I mean, I would think. And it's in Central South America area, Nicaragua, Colombia.
They're down there. This creature, this actual goatsucker is down in those areas. If you don't have any ideas, I'll tell you.
Give me a hint.
Nocturnal. But that's not going to help because that's also a bunch of creatures.
Yeah, that narrows it down to all of the Amazon jungle.
If I give you... I have only one word that'll make you go, oh. And then I got to make you go, oh. I got one word. You want it?
Sure.
Feathers.
Owls?
Not too far off. I'll get right to it, though. It's a bird. It's a bird called a nightjar. Nightjar.
Yeah, I know what they are, yeah.
They're a goofy-looking bird with a big mouth, but they are found over all the world. Like we're talking Greece, Italy, South America, good portion of Europe, most of the world minus some islands and the Arctic, obviously. But there's actually a folklore behind the bird where it was thought they would swoop out into the night and suckle milk out of goats. In fact, their scientific name is Capra molgidae, which is Latin for goat sucker.
I'm done. Okay.
Oh, he's going out the door. Nope, get back here, Tony. That's ancient folklore, dude. That goes back centuries.
I'm trying to think if you're a farmer in Colombia or Nicaragua, and you're just walking out, and you're like, oh, the goats are making a weird noise. there's a bird on the goat udder. I don't even know what my reaction would be. Like, do I grab it?
Do I shoo the bird away? What do I do?
That's okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I wasn't. I wouldn't have been in the realm.
Yeah, it's just an old folklore. I don't know if they actually do that, but people may have thought the birds did that.
Yeah.
You know how primitive man has had a bunch of weird superstitions.
Oh yeah.
Like how owls are harbingers of doom and death. Just
No, that's just the Mothman.
Going back a couple more. But back to everything at hand.
Back to the chupa thingies.
We want the main dish here. We want our chupacabra. For roughly 5 to 6 years, the remainder of the 90s, from 1995 was when the first reports were made, 95,
Yep.
to the beginning of the 2000s, farmers throughout Latin America, Puerto Rico, Chile, pretty much everything Mexico south,
Yeah.
and some of the southern states like Florida and Texas.
New Mexico and Arizona too,
Which-
if I remember right.
Of course, it may have just been Florida man going about doing his thing.
No, that was just Florida Man's Tuesday afternoons.
Pretty much. But everybody throughout Latin America and some of the southern states reported finding some of their livestock, mainly goats and chickens, dead and depleted of blood. Most of the dead livestock were almost always described as having puncture wounds in the neck, and this is when people claimed that the chupacabra was all to blame.
Yep.
In fact, it actually got its name from a Puerto Rican comedian. I forgot his name off the top of my head, but that's how he was just making a joke like El Chupacabra, and that's how the name came to be, because goats were dead and drained of blood. And it's like, oh, it's a goat sucker. That's what it is.
Modern cryptids require modern reasoning.
But then, suddenly in the early 2000s, this is when people began to witness the more dog-like variations of what they thought were chupacabras. We've seen photos, we've seen videos, and these creatures do exist.
Yep.
For sure they do, and they have made their rounds on the internet plenty times over. I have seen...
Dozens and dozens and hundreds.
And I remember seeing also, photos of the dead animals, the depleted, the exsanguinated goats,
Yeah,
and
the
chickens.
carcasses and of the prey.
Yep, all of that. Hell, people even shot and killed or captured some of these creatures. I've seen that too. I've seen the footage of the dead bodies, the long kangaroo-looking legs on these dead dog-looking creatures. Some even wound up being inconclusive, though, on what they were because, well, after they were shot, killed, and photographed, they were tossed in the trash.
Of course, because why would you need to keep it for
It's
any
a
reason?
varmint. We don't need it. Yeah. Others wound up being dogs or coyotes. In a couple of cases, a raccoon or two.
Yep.
I've seen those. And they all had a severe case of mange and malnourishment.
Yep.
In fact, one of my favorite things, I wish I could go see it, and I need to at some point. There's a preserved and taxidermied specimen of the dog-like chupacabra down in Blanco, Texas.
Nice.
Which is down in central Texas.
Yeah, probably South Central area.
Yep. I actually wanted to go down there at some point, just to see it, because I've seen it on television and everything,
In the internets.
and read the articles about it all the time. And here's actually something crazy. I told you that Chupacabra was near and dear to my heart. Turns out I have a couple of connections to it.
Are you a Chupacabra?
I am not. I am not a Chupacabra, despite what you're thinking. I know I'm weird looking.
Yeah, no.
I'm weird looking, but I ain't that weird looking. But, hey. But a few years back, my mom's cousin, who lives out in western Texas, somewhere south of Lubbock. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
She actually claimed that she saw one of the American Southwest Chupacabras.
Nice.
Yeah. And I've been out that area. I went to go visit her with my family some time ago.
And I've been out that direction
And
multiple times.
if you're
too.
familiar with that area, there's not a lot of greenery out there. It's a lot of dead man's land.
Dirt.
Dirt and brush.
Cattle farm, dirt.
Yep.
Dirt.
There ain't much out there. It's
No.
south of Lubbock, post Texas. Any Texas listeners will know what I'm talking about.
I had family that lived just on the border of New Mexico and Texas, on the New Mexico side. That was a boring drive.
There's not a lot there.
Oh my
There's
God.
not. I mean,
I'm not even sorry. Like,
no.
I am not sorry to Texas listeners. They understand. They're like, yeah, no, we get it. No.
But she said that she saw it running across the ground one day and then it bounded away off into the brush. She told my mom, and my mom told me, and I drew it out. Of course, I was like, She said that, and I looked off like a picture of a bounding, like a coyote or whatever running, and then I just drew it without the fur, and I was like, there it is. Made it, because I was curious. I was like, let's see what it looks like. And I don't think I told you this. I actually had an encounter.
No shit.
Yeah! I actually witnessed what people think is the American Southwest Chupacabra. This was some years ago. I want to say 2016-ish. It was winter, that was for certain, because a lot of the ground up in northwest Oklahoma, where I was at the time, was yellow, barren, and there was still some snow, I think, on the ground.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but I was leaving my parents, and I was heading back. Either it was to get back onto I-35 to get back to Norman, or it was to go to Tulsa.
Yeah, one way or the other.
One way or the other. I was leaving my parents, and I was just traveling out in the boonies of northwest Oklahoma. And as I'm driving, I see what looks like to be a dog-like creature, gray skin, just skeletal looking, running in the ditch, then bounding across the road. I'm driving the speed limit, which was like 50, 60.
Yeah.
So I did, and my phone was in my pocket. I didn't have time to snap a photo or anything of it.
Yeah.
But I saw it, and I was like, holy shit. I just saw what people describe as a chupacabra.
And then he cried tears of joy.
I did. I was like, I actually got to witness.
Check, I can die now.
I got to witness something. I'd never have those opportunities.
No, it seems so few and far between to actually witness one of these. Excuse me. A ghost or a crypt. It's so few. You know someone that knows someone that knows someone that saw something.
Yeah, it's always a chain letter.
Yeah.
But then when it happens to you, it's just like, whoa.
Yeah. I've had one encounter similar to that. It wasn't a chupacabra. It was something else. But
yeah, go ahead and talk about it. We got plenty of time.
It was. I'm sure I've told you this. The ghost in the Miko Armory.
Refresh my memory.
Our mutual friend Ryan,
yes.
Me, and one of my friends from high school. I was in graphic design and like sort of some cinematography and Votech. So my final project was I had to make a short 15-minute movie. Opening credits, end credits, all that. So my friend Ryan and I both thought, let's just do like a Blair Witch Project, sort of, shaky cam thing. We go to the Miko Armory that's allegedly haunted, high school rumor sort of thing.
Yeah, all the fun stuff.
It's a 2-story building, and it's used. It's not like it's completely abandoned, but it's not used but once a year for a week or two. We go in. It's humid as hell. It's the middle of August in Oklahoma. Ink was running off our sheets of paper that, like, not ink we wrote, the ink in the paper was running.
I can already guess the smell of the place, too. I'm going to assume that dusty, muggy, stale air.
Asbestos.
Oh, God. That's how it's been feeling at work lately, too, because the temperature change is happening soon, because we're moving from winter to spring, and that's when it's a pain. But I can already imagine the smell and the feel of the place.
Yeah.
But go on.
But 2-story building, and I had bought a voice recorder.
Yeah.
Because that's what ghost hunters use. So we turned it on and we talked a little bit. Tried to prompt a ghost to come speak to it.
Yeah.
And left it in the upstairs in the commanding officer's former office. Went downstairs and left it up there the rest of the evening until we took off because it was too hot and we were going to die.
Yeah.
Ran back upstairs, picked it up, and then we all sort of went our separate ways. I'm listening through it, and you can hear us like very distantly, through a room, through stairs and on the bottom floor. And then like in 20, 30 minutes into the recording, clear as day, you hear a little girl saying "Captain." Just like, hey guys, Captain. Like, okay, my pants. And I think Ryan still has that recording.
You know what? We've got to get with him, and I need him to send me. I would like to hear this because I'm a genuine skeptic. I'm willing to always be like, may have been this or that. Because when there's people who go on these ghost shows, they're always talking to locals, or there's always these ghost hunters, and they talk to locals, and locals pull Scooby-Doo shit on them all the time. They do the ghosts, they bang stuff around, they make the scary voices just to fuck with these kids. Because that's what you do. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to mess with kids who are just like, oh, I'm going to go ghost hunting. And they always go to, the old crotchety folks who have stories to tell. Then those people get together like, well, they're in there. Let's go get them. And the kids run screaming, pissing their pants.
Yeah. Yeah. We were those kids, but there was no, the town didn't know we were there. Like, we had to have an officer, unlock the door and let us in.
So you got permission to go into the building?
Yes, because the building was not condemned, but it was a hazard because of, I think it was actually asbestos in that building.
You might want to go get checked, dude.
It was minimal, but it was enough to the Department of Environmental Quality. So I had their phone numbers on speed dial on my phone for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chupa thingy.
Yeah, but
tangent.
But despite my hopes and everything else, as the son of an avid hunter and outdoorsman, I did figure that this was nothing more than a mangy coyote.
Yeah.
When you see something that is stripped of all of its fur, it looks incredibly alien. Because we're used to seeing coyotes with these big, puffy, bushy tails. So seeing a long, spindly thing underneath is like, whoa.
That's not a dog. That's a chupacabra.
The same went for my mom's cousin.
Yeah.
Just nothing more than another mangy coyote that was also malnourished.
Yeah.
Despite everything about this creature, what I hoped, that's what it is. It's nothing more than a creature of fiction.
Which sucks, because
it's such a cool-looking monster. It's something that has truly been unseen by anything. You go back and look at all the different bestiaries and registers of everything. It doesn't match anything. It doesn't look like a stereotypical gargoyle. It doesn't look like a dragon. It doesn't look like anything natural.
Yeah. And there's like you said, there's so many variations of it. From a mangy-looking coyote to straight up an alien with the gargoyle wings. Like, the spectrum on this thing is so wide. And I think that's what's so interesting about it is it's so bizarre and it's so alien that you can describe something and call it a chupacabra as long as it has, two things that are similar to something else. Yeah, sure. That lines up.
Man, this creature was also a creature of the internet. Because I remember when my family got our first computer back in 2003. So, reports of Chupacabra have been around for 8 years at this point.
Yeah.
8 years of Chupacabra. And there's all the different reports of it. And there was so much art online of just what people thought there was. Just all these hand-drawn images on, DeviantArt and all the different blogs.
Oh, God, DeviantArt.
I'm aging myself on this one.
Yeah. Ow, that hurt.
And then I even saw people who did some early Photoshops where there was, this really fuzzy-looking, what people claim was a Chupacabra. It was a photo of a tree, and then they took they made like a fuzzy looking, like long furred spiked creature, and they put it up there, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool. That might be true.
That might be a thing.
But at the time when I was younger, I was like, I didn't think of photo editing when I was younger. Nobody ever does when they're younger. It's like that magic, that imagination is alive and well.
Yeah.
But it does make a question of, how did the initial appearance of the Chupacabra come to be?
Apparently night jars.
No, that's just the legend on that one. But like the alien rows of spikes down the back.
Yeah,
How'd that come out? It just suddenly appeared in 1995. This is actually what led to some people thinking that it was an escaped lab experiment.
Yeah, because we were still in the Roswell Area 51 panic.
Yeah, we were in that area, and plus, this was also at a time when the world was not connected at all, so there was a lot of speculation as to what this thing was. Others thought it was a demon.
But we had the X-Files.
We did, and they actually did have an episode on the Chupacabra, but it didn't actually feature the creature.
It was a weird episode. That was the only one I ever watched, expecting to see Chupacabra. I was like, well, okay.
Well, it's like they did an episode of the Jersey Devil, and instead of being a big demon creature, it was a primitive humanoid. Mm-hmm. Like a cave woman sort of situation.
Yep.
Back to this creature. Remember Madeline Tolentino, the first person who claimed to have witnessed the Chupacabra?
Yep.
Her description of the creature is an almost, if not exact, pinpoint match to Syl, the primary character in the 1995 film Species. You ever seen it?
Yes.
That
son of a bitch.
That movie, for being in 1995, it held up. Like, it still holds up. It was actually a box office success, and going back, it had a very star-studded cast. I mean, you had Ben Kingsley, Alfred Molina, Marg Helgenberger, Forrest Whitaker, just to name four of the big names. I'll even add further star power to it. Syl's alien form was designed by H.R. Geiger.
Oh, wow.
Who helped create the xenomorphs from the Alien franchise.
Yep.
And you can see that influence when you go back and watch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you drop the name
H.R. Geiger.
Yeah, H.R. Geiger. I mean, that's just an entire genre.
You can already imagine it. When you hear his name, you know what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with the movie, Species is a 1995 sci-fi horror movie about an alien creature that has escaped a secret government facility and is seeking to mate with people to produce its offspring.
Giggity.
While also being hunted by government officials.
Not giggity.
No. And if you look at Syl's alien appearance, she has claws, leathery skin, a row of spines down her back, a very elongated head, large eyes, all hallmarks of the original Chupacabra description by Tolentino, who believed that the events in the movie were actually happening in Puerto Rico at the time. So, while the creature's initial description is pretty cool sounding, like, wow, this is something we've never seen before, it's very much a fake creature.
We've definitely seen it before in a movie.
In a movie that wound up having 3 films in a franchise.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that movie when I was a kid. Oh, I had nightmares.
Well, that's a disappointment. Your Chupacabra is just a movie thing. Oh.
Yeah. Which, it hurt. It really did. Like, I was... When that realization was made years ago, I've known about that since, and I looked... Because it came out in 2011 that was revealed that, it was just a misidentification of a movie creature.
And this is why Tim drinks at night.
Yeah.
Damn it could have been real.
Yeah, they did. But it definitely made me feel sad. It was like, man, my favorite iteration of the Chupacabra is nothing more than a movie monster. But, despite everything, the Chupacabra has certainly captured the public imagination.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
There is no doubts.
Movies are made about it. It's the main antagonist in the movie and creature feature movies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are countless examples of pop culture, ranging from music to film to television, books. In fact, one of the first times I remember the Chupacabra appearing in media, and this, I didn't, put 2 and 2 together because, I was a kid at the time. I was like 4 when it came out. was Dexter's Lab. In 1997, there was an episode called Got Your Goat. Where Dexter and Dee Dee traveled to South America to find Charlie, an escaped experiment from Dexter. And at the end of the episode, it was discovered Charlie was the Chupacabra.
Fuck. I can remember that. I can remember Charlie.
You remember what he looks like.
Green,
little green
red eyes, wings, scales.
Spikes on his back, like the classic depiction.
Bulbous head.
The classic depiction of the Chupacabra.
So we're using that as a picture when we release this episode.
Oh yeah, we're gonna throw that in there for sure. I looked up just to make sure. There's images. You can find Charlie.
I'm gonna look it up actually while you're talking.
And he was created to scare Dee Dee. That was his initial reason why he was made.
I remember they showed shadows of him moving around the first time. He's like scaring Dee Dee, arms up in the air.
Yeah.
And Dexter, Charlie.
And then he just turns around all sweet and innocent, like da. God.
Wow. Oh God, I feel so old.
There's a memory for you. But I didn't even put two and two together when I was a kid. I was just like, oh, it's a cool little creature. And then throughout it, Dexter's just like, Charlie, and Dee Dee's like, no, it's Chupacabra.
Yeah, whatever that accent was.
Yeah. Ugh. Now, while that for me was one of the first, and that was in 1997, so like 2 years after the initial reports, so already Chupacabra was gaining headway into pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
But here's actually one that I don't think you know about, but I could be wrong. This is one of the first times I consider this the true moment that I fell in love with this creature that put me in the world of cryptozoology. This one in particular. Back in the early 2000s, there was an online game called Steppenwolf, the X Creatures Project.
Nope.
You'd never heard of it.
Nope.
It was actually really well done. It was made by a gaming company. I don't know if they exist anymore. That was on Warner Brothers, the Warner Brothers website. Mm-hmm. So it was owned by WB.
Okay.
And it follows the adventures of a young reporter named Meg, who winds up teaming up with a mysterious scientist who goes by the name Steppenwolf. They travel around the globe trying to locate specific legendary monsters. Mokelemembe, Yeti, Kraken, Chupacabra, just to name a few of them, while also dealing with a shadowy bioengineering company. Mm-hmm. And one of the creatures, this was in about 2003, 2004 when I got my first computer, then this was when I came across this series, one of the creatures I had to look for was a Chupacabra. But this depiction was a little bit different. For one, this Chupacabra was a green, impish-looking demon with, like, large horns on the back of its head, pointed ears, and wings. That was also under the control of a cult down in Puerto Rico, who used it to sacrifice goats and people for power. Yeah, there was a lot going to it. Like, that's it. The animation was good. The story was really good. That's the one.
That
was my Chupacabra for years, dude.
Nice.
That was my Chupacabra.
Well, Charlie was my Chupacabra. So, different times.
Yep. Yeah, that right there. That's what flung me into the world of cryptozoology. And then I got, Cryptozoology A to Z just to start off, which you have a copy of as well.
Sitting right here in front of me. Along with The Wizard's Bestiary and North American, or The Field Guide to North American Monsters.
Yep. Hey, you got your own copy of the Bestiary. Nice.
Yeah. I think like 2 weeks after I borrowed yours.
Nice. But yeah, that was what plunged me into this world, and I look back fondly at it because they definitely changed things up. Like, they made the Mokelemembe have like horns on its nose and everything. The Kraken was a giant squid, but it just kind of sat there. Then there was a strange creature they kind of created for the series called the Heruka.
The Heruka.
Heruka. It is a fucking creepy creature. Like you have to you encounter in like the third episode, playing as Steppenwolf, and if you get too close to it, it attacks you in a jump scare. So
lovely.
yeah, so you're getting scared out of your mind.
I love jump scares.
And spoiler, because I don't think the game was played on Flash, and rest in peace, Flash animation. The Haruka that we do come across, which is this large, pale, white-looking thing with glowing red eyes, turns out to be Steppenwolf's mutated wife.
Adorable.
Yeah, spoilers if you are unfamiliar.
It's a little late for spoiler light.
Yeah, the game is...
I think we're good.
Yeah. I learned... I went down a lot of crazy stuff. The same gaming company that made Steppenwolf also made another game called Arcane, which is how I learned about the Cthulhu mythos, which we'll get into in another time.
Oh, that's... Yeah, I'll just let you do that one at home
that's
by
definitely...
yourself.
Yeah, that one's mine.
Yeah.
Now, other examples of the Chupacabra appearing in media include Mucha Lucha, because we have a couple of different Chupacabras who were helping evil Santa Claus during the Christmas episode.
I remember there was a Scooby-Doo straight-to-video movie.
Oh, yeah, the Monster of Mexico.
Yep.
But this one, it was portrayed as a Bigfoot-looking creature, which I was a little disappointed in that one because I was back when I was back in the mentality of it was, the alien creature.
Yeah, it was the Steppenwolf.
It was not the Bigfoot-looking creature. It wasn't a dog-like creature. It was the alien demon creature.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan Adventures had one, where El Toro Fuerte got turned into a werewolf-like creature. Like, the Chupacabra went with werewolf.
With spines out of his wrestling outfit.
Yep, and
the
he
big red eyes.
couldn't go into the sun because it would turn into dust.
Why are we talking about... Why are we aging ourselves like this?
It's something I like doing, because we have these creatures.
I don't.
We have these creatures...
Care that you're younger than me. Shut up.
By 2 years!
Exactly. Shut up, you toddler.
That's what I love about this stuff, is that we talk about a lot of topics we have. They have gone into the pop culture, and it always astounds me. Generator Rex. Did you ever watch that show?
That sounds familiar.
It was alongside the time of Ben 10 back in the late 2000s.
I was on the very tail end of childhood with Ben 10. Like, I watched the first couple seasons.
Yeah.
And then I just sort of, whatever.
Generator Rex was made by the same people who made Ben 10, I think. And similar art style. It was about a kid who has the power to fix abnormalities, because there was like this massive nanobot wave around the world or whatever. So everybody has these sleeping nanites, and when they activate, they transform people into hideous monsters. Rex, the title character, has the power to, once he, healing touch, so to speak, just get him back to normal. It's a whole thing. And in one episode, they were dealing with this giant monster with fangs, fur, teeth, everything. It was a Chupacabra. They tried to fix it, and it's like, no, it's a natural animal. And
no, that's a thing. That's a thing that exists.
And it looks like a combination of like a giant bat mixed with a fox sort of thing. Like, you can look it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that.
It's a definite variation on Chupacabra that made me go, I can accept it for the universe that they're in, because it's such a strange universe. And then we had, live action movies like Chupacabra Dark Seas. Do you remember that one?
Yep.
Which had John Rhys Davies, of all people, in it. Gimli himself in there. That movie was something else. Hell, that was actually the first time I remember seeing something with Giancarlo Esposito. Gus. Gus from Breaking Bad.
Yep.
It's weird.
Yeah, Chupacabra seemed to, from like 06 to 10, 11, was like the main antagonist for every straight-to-the Sci-Fi Channel movie. There
was always something, and it was always a guy in a suit looking like a frickin' demon with mottled skin. Or it was
god-awful CGI from 20 years prior to when the movie was made.
Yeah. There's no doubts on that.
Some Scorpion King CGI.
Oh, boy. Rip. But there were so many different examples of the Chupacabra in the media, from books, toys, television, music. We could have an entire episode strictly alone talking about everything.
Yeah, just the variations.
Oh, yeah.
Just the multiverse versions.
And one of the last things I remember seeing, there's actually, I think it was a Netflix show, name escapes me right now, but there's actually a character who can transform into a Chupacabra. Like a rage werewolf situation. Where he looks like a combination of the two creatures. So mostly dog-like, but like spikes down his back.
Wasn't it also in Hellboy?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I've not read Hellboy, so I can't...
Well, the new one. That was questionable at best.
No, that was a bunch of demons. There was no Chupacabra, because it was up in England. It wasn't...
not in England, like the opening scene. He's in Mexico.
That was a vampire bat. That was a vampire bat.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was vampire or Chupi.
No, it wasn't Chupacabra.
Okay.
Did you ever watch The Secret Saturdays?
I just saw that scrolling through for the Generator Rex one.
Yep. Yeah. They had Chupacabras in there as well. That was a fun show. It's a shame that Cartoon Network cut it out. Like, they forced it to end. It was
American
bad.
Dragon Jake Long.
Yep. Oh, again, permeates.
I think Danny Phantom.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I'm sure there was more than a few Nickelodeon, because Nickelodeon was like the edgier Cartoon Network in that time frame.
But there was plenty, dude. Yeah. And and it's sometimes just the name of the episode.
Play of the word, something with goat.
Yeah. There's always something.
So basically, how far in are we on this episode?
It'll be a short one. Okay. Like, we're only at 43 minutes, which I'm fine with. This was definitely gonna be more of a discussion episode. Yeah. Which this is gonna happen. We're gonna have some discussion episodes.
And mine is gonna be the same exact thing.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a discussion.
Your next one, yeah.
Yeah. But so basically, I'm just gonna break it down in the most nihilistic, fun way I can think of. That is two very contradicting statements there.
Fun nihilism. Absolutely. Nietzsche, you're enjoying yourself
Nietzsche
right now,
with the clown horn.
Honk, honk.
We're all gonna die. So your favorite cryptid, the one that got you hooked into this, and some of the reason that we're friends, and the reason we are having this podcast right here and right now, was never real.
Yep.
And the closest actual variation is a mangy dog.
Yep. What's that say about my life?
And on that note...
Yeah, no, as much as I love it, this creature for sure, it captured my imagination when I was a kid. It definitely fueled a passion that I still have. I take a very skeptical note of it, but I do love, like, looking into people's reports and just hearing these, campfire ghost stories of people talking about it.
And Chupacabra, when I first started getting into the interest of it was probably in my top 10, easily. Mothman, Jersey Devil, Loch Ness, Sasquatch, Chupacabra was in there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I didn't realize it was the alien from Species.
Mm-hmm. And then you look at her and it's like, yeah.
You're a goat sucker. Sad panda noise.
Sad.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
All right. So, we've actually sort of waltzed around my topic next, doing with diseases of animals and variations of animals and all that sort of stuff.
So, do you have a big topic for us next time?
I have a... Oh, my God, I didn't... Oh, my God. We're not recording the next episode because you're not allowed here anymore. Go home.
Don't believe him, everyone.
But believe me. I'm going to kill him.
Ah!
Yes, something big, Tim.
Hey, you set me up for it. But with that out of the way, everybody, thank you all once again for listening to Tall and Short Pod with Tim and Tony. Ignore him as best you can.
I'm gonna murder Tim.
If you'd like to meet us on socials, we have Tall and Short Pod on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to send us an email, please send an email to tallandshortpod@gmail.com. That is tallandshortpod@gmail.com. All right, with that out of the way, thank you all, everybody. Have an amazing day.